Hi everyone. I promise that I'll do a few of these videos during this COVID-19 period, just essentially to speak to people, let them know that it's a serious situation. Yes, a lot of people think it's no big deal. We've had fever before. We've had coughs before. Uh, it's not really a killer disease, which is largely true, but the fact is that COVID-19 is a silent killer. So yes, I could have the disease or you could have it and you wouldn't even know. I think an estimated like 30% of people who have it do not even know they have anything. So yes, it's possible that you have it and you can shake it off in 14 days or something like that. However, there's a problem because if you think about it, in 14 days, you, without knowing that you have it, you go to friends, family members. Some of them may have underlying health issues. And essentially, if they get the COVID-19 from you, even though you don't know you have it, they will die. Simple. There's no painting it in a lovely color or putting flowers on it. They will simply drop dead and it will be your fault. You would have essentially helped to kill somebody quicker than normal. Um, the other thing I wanted to talk about was this whole NCDC thing. I know, and I'm saying this, and that's why I'm doing a video, that the NCDC is lying about the numbers. But I'm also curious because I hear that the NCDC is also giving people who are in isolation medication. Now, to the best of my knowledge, there isn't any medication out there that has been announced by the federal government of Nigeria. I'm not talking about any other country, but the federal government has approved to be administered to anybody that's experiencing a COVID-19 challenge. So I'm a bit like curious to find out who's making this decision and exactly what drugs are they being given. The other aspect also is that the admissions policy for COVID-19 from the onset was flawed. Even when it started in other countries, what they decided to do was to allow people who actually have the virus but who don't have any symptoms to self-isolate in their homes and only admit people who have more critical issues. There was obviously the story of the lawyer in Lagos who sadly passed away, who was looking for help. I also understand, and I'm saying this so that people understand why I've been so annoyed with Lagos State, that Lagos State is telling certain people that the isolation centers are full, but yet the same Lagos State, people are calling people who are working with the government and they are actually allocating spaces for them because they're their friends or they know them. That is totally wrong and unacceptable. I mean, like, it must be on a first come, first served basis or on a basis of seriousness. So if somebody has a more serious challenge, I think they should be admitted first, not your friend. And finally, as I was talking about the isolation policy, the isolation policy must now be looked at more seriously and revamped. For example, if the isolation centers are full of people now who 90 or 70 or 80% of them don't even have any symptoms, they're not ill, they don't need any medication, why are you keeping them there? Just make them sign an undertaking to say they will self-isolate so that if they break that rule, then you can actually hold them accountable and send them home and make sure they are isolating their homes. There is no point keeping these centers full of people who are not actually sick. Yes, they have the virus, but they're not sick. While the people who are fainting and dying on the roadside do not even have a space. I mean, this is, my take on the matter so far. But I'd appeal to all governments to take this a bit more seriously and stop this whole there's no COVID-19 in my state, we're not allowing anybody in. You know what you can is because Nigeria is an irresponsible country and people don't hold their leaders accountable. Because as a governor, if you say you don't believe in COVID-19 or it's not in your state, and eventually people do begin to die, ordinarily, if you were anywhere else, you should resign that appointment, and apologize to the people of your state. But because nobody's going to hold you accountable, you can just wake up and say you're going to isolate NCDC staff for 14 days, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's the most irresponsible thing I've heard. These are the health workers that have come to your state to do a job and help save your people. But you think you're going to make a caricature out of them to serve some sort of... Anyway, it's not your fault. You are mostly ruling over bush people. If not, you will not even be a governor in the first place. It's quite upsetting. And for Cross River State as well, which is a PDP state, I won't leave you out because I believe that there isn't a state today that can boast that they don't have a case. Yes, you may not have a serious case of COVID-19 or something related, but you will have people who have the virus and are spreading it as we speak. And you know what? They can spread it to 1,000 people and nothing will happen to them. All of them might not have symptoms. But guess what? They mean they spread it to people who are likely to react worse to the virus. People will begin to die like they're dying in Kano, and you remember they were drinking water in Kano. They were drinking, washing their hands and drinking the water in Kano. Today they cannot. You won't even see one video of that again because people are waking up to realize that this thing is not a joke. And yes, it won't kill majority of the people that have it. That's the fact. They won't even have a cough or cold or headache. They won't even know they have it. But the people that it will kill will be the 1%. But when you look at the total population of Nigeria, for instance, 1% of 200 million people is like 2 million people. I mean, 2 million people is my father, your mother, my sister, your brother. It can be anybody. I mean, if you had to choose the 2 million people, how many people in your family can you point to and choose to die today? So the idea is not whether, and all this stuff about going back to work, and it's just total bullshit. I mean, I won't even call it anything. It's just madness. You cannot go back to work and take chances that because your COVID-19 won't kill you, take your chances. It is not really about you. If you want to die, there are easier ways to do it. But you might be killing other people while you stay healthy. So the point is not that it isn't your responsibility. You do not get to decide who dies. What you do is you stay home as much as you can. Instead of saying you want to go out to work, pressure government to do a bit more for people who are not able to afford to stay at home at this time. Because you see, the issue is this, and on a final note, that if you do decide to break the lockdown and start to go out now, I mean, now they have tested 20,000 people and numbers are 4,000. That's about 25%. Now, imagine if the lockdown is lifted again, and out of the people that they've tested, or they have not tested, I beg your pardon, they are actually infecting people. And the infection rate in Nigeria will be about, maybe R will be about 5 or 6. So every one person would infect like 5 or 6 people, minimum 2 people. So if you look at people that are infected right now, that have been registered as infected, 4,000 people. If you multiply, well, some of them have gone on, but if you multiply that by let's just say 2, that means that those 4,000 could have infected about 8,000 people. Now, those 8,000 people by 2, they would have infected 16,000 and so on and so forth. It just becomes something that the health service cannot manage. And I believe that right now, the isolation centers are full. And I believe that this is probably the time for the policies to be reviewed. Because when the numbers get bigger, you need to keep the isolation centers for people who are struggling to breathe, who are struggling with high fevers and headaches and more serious ailments, rather than having, because there's so many people that I know that had this thing. I say, oh, I feel great, but I haven't tested negative twice. Then they shouldn't be in an isolation center. They should be isolating in their homes, where they'll probably even be more comfortable, and and they're not taking up space that somebody that's critically ill can use. I mean, so that is my bit for today, my 10 minutes for today. I mean, everyone stay safe. Yeah, if you need to go out, if you're an essential worker, you need to be at work, yes, please do that. But please stay safe. And please, Nigerians, please stop using all these guards and N95 masks and stuff and using like water. Because at some point, when we get overwhelmed, the health service will need them. And if you've just used them to take pictures and stay at home doing nothing really and just to show off, then when the people that are treating you get sick, there'll be nobody to treat those who are ill. So I think we need to take these things a bit more and all just contribute a little bit to make things easier for the government as well at this very critical time. I wish you all well. Take care. God bless.